This is episode 90 of Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey. I'm Ted. He's Wacey. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for buying your merch. Thanks for listening to the show for 90 episodes. It's
episode
it's
90.
It's May. It's not going to be May. It is May. We are in May in Canada.
I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, welcome to May.
It's happening.
Wacey. It's here.
Man, it's been quite a day. We golfed, me and a buddy today, and it was the first 9. It was super nice out and sunny, and then we got to the
Hot dog
13th hole, and then it rained for 10 minutes straight, and then it was sunny the rest of the way. It's such a springtime in Alberta, man.
What was it like when it was raining out there? Was it bad? Good? How was
it? We came prepared, so we had a cart and we had the windshield up. I brought a rain jacket. My friend brought a rain jacket as well, so we were good to go on that front.
Solid.
Wasn't warm, but yeah, it was good. We were at a good spot where we could like angle the cart, so we were sheltered from the rain. Because we walked the front night, so had we been walking, it would have sucked big time.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's crazy how fast it moved into though, because it looked like it was further away than it was, and all of a sudden it started just pissing rain.
Damn, that'll happen. That will
springtime
happen.
in Alberta, man.
It's true. Okay, so we've got a few rounds golf in already. We're having a good spring. The weather's coming around. I got hammer drunk this weekend. Still feeling pretty rough. Got to get back on the road tomorrow, do some sales. COVID is running rampant in Alberta, and we're supposed to be through this thing relatively soon, I would hope. I think where we went wrong with the whole thing was opening back up in February when we already had enough cases. We should have went back a little further, but I don't know, man. I don't want to get into all the politics. It's
there's been so many things
way
gone
too far
fundamentally. I got my first shot of the vaccine.
Yeah, you lucked out. It's Wild West for vaccines, man. Anybody fucking
if you can, take advantage when you can. But
your dad had an appointment canceled, so maybe you should make another one, and then one of somebody else can go.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but we're lucked out that we're Métis, I guess. But yeah, got lucky. Got my first shot. Yeah, I'm still alive. I'm not a zombie.
Yeah, it's true.
So all is well.
Anyone out there not sure about the vaccine thing? It's science. Those guys went to. They've done a bit of work. You know,
they're scientists for a reason.
Yeah, they've done some studying, and they know their things. So they might be onto something. Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm no expert, but they might know things.
I'm no rocket appliancist.
Yeah. Speaking of rocket appliances, there was a whole crew of them together in fucking Bowden the last couple days.
That's quite the thing happening up there. And I mean, I understand people are frustrated with all this.
I'm fucking sick of this shit too.
We all are, man.
I'm over it.
For sure. But like literally the most ironic thing of it all is like this goes down on the day that Alberta has a record amount of cases. And like our healthcare system is on the verge of like deciding who gets to live and who gets to not live when it comes to the ICU stuff.
And right now it's younger people in the hospital.
Yeah. And
it ain't good.
And I think a lot of the stuff gets confused, or people get caught up with like the death amount of people who've passed away, which is like we don't like, not like people don't want that at all. But there's like long-term stuff. Like just because you're in the ICU doesn't mean you're going to pass away. But you could be sick for a long time, which again takes its toll on the healthcare system, right? So
I wonder how much different it would be if in Canada with COVID, if people if we had to pay for our healthcare like you do in the US. I wonder what would happen then.
I think some people would change their tune for sure. And I mean, yeah, it's tough to see, and it sheds a light on the sport that doesn't need to be shed at this point. And
I don't know if I totally agree with that overall, because it was a non-sanctioned event. I know that not many people know everything about rodeo, but I mean, it was an amateur production, amateur event, amateur crew. There was nothing professional about it. There was not sanctioned by any actual rodeo organization in the country. It was on private land. I mean, it was like somebody had a jackpot and they got a lot of extra publicity that they probably didn't need. But if they just would have done it and not advertised it, like, I don't know who it benefited. I don't know what benefit that thing had on anybody. Somebody might have made $300 or $400 in the rodeo. You might have made a couple grand. Like, after all this, and we're gonna be able to go rodeo in a while. Like, and your names are all, anybody that entered that rodeo, their names are publicly attached to that. And I mean, anyone that, if there are any fines being handed out, you didn't make any money, and you just took a stance on something that was maybe
ridiculous.
You might have accomplish something, I guess. I don't know.
Or what was it that you and I mean, I agree with what you say in that sense, but in the eyes of the general public, like rodeo's easily grouped into the same, everything is the same. Like just as like Jimmy who lives down the
Yeah.
street, or whatever, like he doesn't know the difference between this, that, and the other. But that's the disconnect that we talked about last episode between the community, like our community, and the urban and people who are generally connected to agriculture and rodeo or whatever, right?
We're on the other side, 4 hours south of Bowdoin in fucking Montana. You can do whatever the hell you want, but we're still locked up, which doesn't make sense either. And how are our numbers so bad compared to Texas and anywhere in the U.S. where they're just done this now?
But look at
Do we have anybody else
compare the percentage of vaccinations too, right?
Yes, correct. They beat us on the vaccines by a long shot, and we didn't have the vaccine, so we need to do things differently. But we have our federal government to thank for that part of it.
For sure.
So I don't know. I'm sick of this thing too, and I'm disappointed in that event in certain ways. But I'm also at a point too where I'm thinking like, you know what, good for those guys. I'm glad they had something. You know, maybe they feel better that they stood up for something. And maybe this thing all is a sham, but I guess if things go real haywire here in the next little bit, then we like what happens if somebody at that rodeo gets sick and ends up in the hospital with COVID from going to that rodeo?
Given the volume of people that were there, the likelihood of that is very high.
So what happens then? Like it's
going to be a domino effect, man. And then everything gets tied back to that event, and yeah,
I don't think it was worth it personally. Especially when we're
the risk you look at the cost benefit analysis of that, what you were standing for and trying to gain from it does not weigh out with the cost of what's the toll it's going to take.
And like I've seen the different notes about freedom, and if we were actually locked down, we wouldn't be able to go to a rodeo or go to the mall. Like we really aren't that fucking locked up right now.
No, for sure.
Honestly. So
no.
I don't know what to say.
Like stuff like this is stuff like this was what's going to lead to a lockdown. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
I mean, we already. What more can they do now?
But really? Remember the first
lock
lockdown.
Our doors. That's when everybody was scared. Then everyone didn't know what it was. We thought it was going to be like what it is now, and now it's.
Well, I mean, like I guess what happened in Italy, when Italy was in this kind of like part of the state of the pandemic, they had full-on lockdowns and curfews, and they're like just because they were there at the same point where they're choosing between who lives and who dies, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
that was early on, but I don't know, man. I'm not sure what to say. I mean, even the States, it got really, really bad, and like they're probably gonna forget about it in a few months, right?
Yeah,
they're back to normal. See you later. So I don't fucking know. Congrats, guys. Congrats on the great rodeo this last weekend. You know, I hope everybody's happy. All the great press you got, and congrats on your freedom. So. That's all I really want to say about that, I guess, for now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean,
I'm interested to see what the associations do with their membership that attended.
Mm-hmm. If anything, it's the next few weeks are gonna really see you like what the outcome of it is. Like,
yeah,
it's hard to really tell the full results of it at this moment, just because there's so much.
Maybe nothing will come of it. Who knows?
And exactly. And like, honestly, I hope that's the case. Like more than anything, just because in the long run, that ends up being a better thing. But
if we don't have a Calgary Stampede this year, I think we might have somewhere to point at as to thanks for fucking it up for everybody else. So we'll just see. We'll just wait and see how it goes.
Time will tell, man, for sure.
You know, fingers crossed it doesn't happen. But if it does, fuck you guys. So
I'm good.
What else you got, Wace? We went off on a pretty bad tangent there.
Kind of. A
big show. This is episode 90. We got Aaron Watson on the show, but we got to talk about some of the shit here. You know, like some of the people that were at that event probably listen to the show, and you know, I'm sorry that I just think it was kind of a bad idea, folks. But anyways, Aaron Watson.
And I mean, this is not us like attacking people and whatever. Like we're entitled to our own opinions, and we can use our platform for what we want to use it for. And I mean, if you disagree, we're sorry. Like
let us know. Call us up.
And let's have a conversation. Like we're adults here, and that's like been kind of a message even. Going back to our last episode again about bridging this gap. And I mean, if these are conversations we need to have internally, like let's have them. Like this is healthy. We're adults. We're not trying to start a fight or like create a divide. We just want to, I don't know, have these grown up conversations.
And anybody, exactly. Okay. What else you got, Wace? What else we got here?
How about your Oilers? How about your Oilers, man?
They
you think
are.
David's going to get 100 points in 56
They are good
games?
at hockey. It's a possibility. I don't know. We'll see.
That'd be quite a feat, eh?
Pretty neat. Pretty good at hockey things.
It was funny. It was quite ironic to see Mike
sucked.
Smith's interview after last night's game when they asked him about how it felt to potentially end the Flames season, and he just said, "Yep." That old raisin. And if he wins the Vezina, that'll be remarkable.
Be pretty epic.
Yeah.
Who do you? So I guess we're almost at time. Who are we picking for the win? Didn't I have Tampa Bay out of a repeat?
Yeah, I bet I actually put some real money on Tampa Bay to win again. But
you
you're looking at like Florida and Carolina, like that division's going to be very tough to get out of. Like those are good teams.
It's going to be interesting. Even
and
up here,
honestly, I wouldn't rule Toronto out yet.
But I don't even know if they're going to get out of the Canadian division either. Like I wonder. I don't know who is going to be the like North finalists.
If a Canadian team is going to win a Stanley Cup in the next however many years, this is the year to do it because there's guaranteed a team in the conference final. Yeah. So I mean, there's a good chance, and Toronto is going to need good goaltending,
and they don't have to play Boston in the first or second round.
Yeah, they might not even see them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Which is
possibly
like
the conference final. Don't know.
Yeah. But so I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting.
Gonna be some good watching, and it's getting warm out, and yeah,
things are happening. Springtime in Alberta.
Again, though, Aaron Watson on the show today. Thanks for the time, Aaron. Thanks to my friend Heather Blankenship for helping line it up. Great show today here. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch up with you after this. Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey, episode 90. Aaron Watson.
Like wheels need a roll, where that rubber meets a red dirt road. I need your kiss like a cooler needs cans, like your body needs my two hands. So baby, climb on up and slide on in, high as a kite, feeling free as the wind. Find that buckle next to me in the middle. You can grind my gears, but don't you play me like a fiddle. We can tie one on and come unwound. Turn up the heat when the sun goes down. No, they don't call it a truck bed for nothing. Yeah, you know that's right. Nothing's better than a Silverado Saturday night.
Well, please welcome to the show American country music singer and songwriter Aaron Watson. I don't know where you're coming to us from today, but you're on your way to a show right now, or you might already be there and sound checked. I'm not sure, but tell us what's going on, where you're at.
Yeah, we're actually we are parked behind a historic venue in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Cain's Ballroom, which is the home of Bob Wills. So it is just one of the coolest venues. It's one of my favorite places to play over the years. So we're excited to play the show tonight.
How long have you been back doing shows? Is this one of your first ones back, or where?
No, I'm kind of not like a lot of the mainstream country artists. Those guys, they chose to not play shows at all. I stayed at home for 5 months and was a good boy. And then around August, we started playing a lot of shows. I mean, I'd play private shows. We played a lot of, in Texas, things are a little different. And there were a lot of like barbecue places all over Texas. And they would have shows, outdoor shows. And, everyone was, they were doing everyone was keeping their distance, lots of tables far from each other. But man, August, September, October, November, December, we played a lot of shows. And we kind of took some time off in January. But, it's good that the rest of the country seems to be opening up a little bit,
It's about time for us to get opened up again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of people have strong opinions about it one way or the other. But I think at the end of the day, I think it should be up to the individual. I mean, at some point, I think what's worse, getting this virus or starving to death. You got to get back to work sooner or later. I mean, I was a biology major in college. I know about I know a thing or two about viruses, and so I mean, I'm very, very, it's a very real thing, but also too, it's hard stopping Mother Nature. It's funny, we can't even control fires, but we think we can control this virus, and that's kind of, it kind of gets into a lot of political things. But at the end of the day, I think we're all coming around thinking like, okay, well, it's time that we've worn the mask, we've stayed at home, we're getting the shot, but there are some people that are never going to recover from this. There are businesses that died during all this, and it's been tough to watch, but we're just thankful that we've been able to plow through it. And all the fans have been so good to me, whether we've been doing Zoom concerts or, the merch we've been selling online. I mean, the fans have taken care of us, and very thankful for the fans. I'm nothing without my fans, that's for sure.
Well, let's talk more about that and you being independent. With the merchandise, do you ship that all yourself out of your house? Like, how do you even get your records printed? Do you have to go to a company yourself, or do you work with somebody on that? Like, being independent, I'm really curious about how it all is different from if you were with a big label, unlike yourself, who is with big label.
Well, we've never signed a record deal. I've always just, I really describe it as music is the family business. And, for the last 10 years, every country album we've put out independently is charted top 10 on country Billboard. I mean, we've had one chart number 1, a couple of them chart number 2. And, it's just been, we just have the best fans in the world. And we ship some stuff out of the house, and then we have some companies that we work with. We'll contract things out, but we just, I'm not a puppet, and I know there's a lot of pros that probably come along with signing a record deal, and you get a better opportunity to get radio play, and you'll get nominations at award shows. I mean, we've had top 10 singles and number 1 records, and we've never even got a nomination at any of these award shows. And I mean, I'm not about those things. You won't find one award that I've won at my house. I mean, those, when you come to my house, you see pictures of my kids, not awards. And but with that being said, that's one of the pros. When you are on a major label, you're kind of, you're within that circle. That circle that is what they consider, top 40 commercial mainstream country music. And, we kind of got ousted. We're not really in that circle, but we never really wanted in that circle. I mean, I love country music. I'm friends with a lot of major label artists, and I have a lot of respect for them. But for me, that's not my cup of tea. I write my music, I produce my music, and I design lots of my merchandise, and it's like I said, it's the family business. And if I want to if I need to take some time off to see my boys' football games or baseball games or my daughter's ballet recital, it's a pretty simple request. I don't have to go to anybody. I just say I'm doing it because I can. But I think I really enjoy being an independent artist. I've had the same band for forever, just great guys. And like I said, music is the family business. We're kind of a mom and pop shop when it comes to music.
I'm just wondering, like,
that being an independent artist, like you have to jump a few more hurdles when it comes to trying to get on the Billboard charts and stuff like that, and you find that it kind of holds you back, I guess. And I guess you're kind of a testament to like the award shows and stuff doesn't really define what makes a good artist, I guess, too. Hey.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I have very strong opinions about that, and I don't ever, in no way do I ever really I don't want to disregard the hard work that a lot of these major label artists do, because there's no doubt they're talented and they work hard as well. But, we started our own record label and we kind of snuck in the back door when they weren't looking. And, we charted Out of Style top 10. I think it went up to 6 or 7, and only 3 songs have charted top 10 on Top 40 radio independently in the history of the chart. So they just don't allow it. I mean, it just doesn't happen. And I mean, we were the first ones to chart an independent album #1 on Country Billboard. Now, charting an album is a little different. They don't quite have control of that. That comes right down to sales. Although, that can be manipulated. They're the ones that kind of get to change the rules as they go along. And I love the people at the ACMs and the CMAs, and they're good people. But when you have an artist who's done something that's never been done before, like charting an album #1 independently or having a top 10, I mean, and you're not even, I mean, they forgot to even put us on the ballot. And it's just one of those deals that's what happens when you're kind of an outsider. I mean, there's a lot of artists on major labels that talk about being an outsider, but independent artists are the true outsiders. I mean, if you're an independent artist, you're definitely swimming upstream. You're going against the grain. And it doesn't matter. I could have the greatest song ever. The greatest song, I always say the good Lord could bring me down the greatest song ever. Already produced and mastered, and I can get it to radio, and because I'm not on a major label, they will not play it. It doesn't matter how good it tests. They're not going to play it. It's a political game. It is what it is. There's only so much time in a day and only so many songs that can be played. And it's definitely, it's an old business model that's slowly dying. And I don't have any, I'm not bitter or angry, but at the same time, I'm not going to waste my kid's college education fund on a radio game that doesn't play fair. So, but what we are going to do is we're going to work hard and we're going to prove them wrong. And, it gives me an opportunity to wave that flag for all independent artists. And really, it's bigger. It's bigger than music. It's not about music. It's about, all these people that are out there working hard, trying to make a name for themselves in whatever industry you're in. There's struggles in it, and there's challenges, and you're going to get discouraged along the way. Things aren't fair, but guess what? Life isn't fair. So for me, I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. I'm going to let those kind of things motivate me to work harder. And sometimes, you know what? I let things piss me off. And when I get pissed off, I get determined. And, you just have to find the positives in everything. And at the end of the day, you have to be thankful. I could compare myself to this artist who is selling out stadiums. I mean, there are artists that have opened for me over the years, and now look at them. Like Luke Bryan has opened 2 shows for me, and look at him now. Boy, he's playing He's done all right. He's a host for this award show. He's on, is it American Idol or America's Got Talent? Whatever show he's on. He's on one of those shows. And you know what? He was a super nice guy. And it's like, I'm happy for him. Luke Combs opened some shows for me, and now look at him. And he's a great, great kid. So I don't root against anyone, but at the same time, I don't covet their success. I don't think to myself, I wish that was me. I'm very thankful for where I'm at. I don't want to be Luke Bryan. I don't want to get up there and dance on stage. It's what Luke Bryan does. Luke Bryan great. And he's successful because he's talented. He's a nice guy. You know, I follow him and his wife on Instagram, and they just seem like a fabulous family. So I'll never, at the end of the day, you know, music is the family business for Luke Bryan. He's just gone about it a little differently than I have, you know, to each his own.
So when it comes to being like an independent artist, then like, do the streaming platforms help out a lot with getting your music out there and stuff? Like, I know the dollar value stuff doesn't really help out on that end, but there's just like the reach you can get from streaming help get your stuff to the people. Like, how vital has that been in that process?
Oh, you know, the streaming thing's great because people who have never heard of you will stumble onto your music. And, you know, while the one thing that I encourage a lot of artists to do is I'm like, if you don't like what you're getting paid from streams, then maybe you should start producing your own music, writing your own songs. You know, I mean, an independent artist that writes his own music, owns his own publishing, owns his own label, that artist is going to make more on streaming than a major label artist. Now, you may not get you may, well, I mean, just think about it. I mean,
yeah.
When I get paid, think about it, it's like a pie. I mean, when I'm getting the whole pie, I wrote the song. It's like our song Out of Style. Out of Style had all that success. Well, I was the one that wrote it. I produced it. I own the publishing company. I own the record label that it was out on. So, I mean, you know, it's like the more, if you can keep all your eggs in that basket, you know, but it's just an interesting game. You know, it's an ever-changing situation, and I can hardly keep up with it. But I know this. If I wake up every morning and I work hard trying to write good songs for my fans, and I get out there and I play the best shows I can play, that's my business model. Make music with a meaning, put on good, fun, family-friendly shows, and be the best version of myself I can be. That's the key. That's the key.
I want to talk about.
I will tell you all this. I'm very competitive. I'm very competitive, and when people say that an independent artist isn't as talented as these major label artists, I completely disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I completely disagree.
I want to ask about the Texas side of things to kind of breaking on to the bigger circle of country music and whatnot, and how that kind of differentiates. How does a person get labeled as Texas country where they don't, the wider spectrum of the country music business? There's a whole other segment in Texas. Is it because of the live shows, where you're from, partially the sound? What differentiates the mainstream, I guess, from the Texas country side of things?
Well, I think there's an independent when it comes to Texas music. There's a lot of different sounds. I think a majority of Texas artists are independent artists. They're artists that, for the most part, they write their music, they record their music. You know, I mean, there's a lot of Nashville artists that also write, but there's also a lot of them that, you know, they have songs pitched to them from publishing companies, and, you know, they go into a studio and, you know, they've got a large budget to record, you know, great songs with the greatest musicians that money can buy. greatest engineers, you know, the highest quality studios out there. I mean, where, you know, it's like, and I've done that. I have recorded at some of the nicest studios in Nashville. But I will tell you this, and that's where we recorded American Soul. And I mean, I absolutely love going to Nashville. You know, a lot of people think I'm anti-Nashville. I'm not anti-Nashville at all. I love a lot of the music that comes out of there. I am a big fan of the songwriter. I relate more to a songwriter than I do these top 40 country artists. I love the songwriters. But that's me. That's my passion, is the songwriting. You know, but we've recorded at the nicest places. But, you know, I just did my last album. I just recorded another album that'll come out sometime this next year at a little studio in Tyler, Texas. And I think it's the best album I've ever made. And it probably cost about 80% less. So I really like that.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
But, you know, for me, but the deal for me is that I'm not reliant on someone else writing me songs. My career does not. My career does not depend on someone else writing me songs. My career relies on myself writing myself music. So I'm not, you know, that is for some of these singers that don't write their own songs, I think that puts them in a very tough spot when you don't write your own music.
So given like your success with like your albums and your some of your singles charting, like, do you have people approaching you with music? Like, are you like open to singing songs that are given to you by like publishers or other songwriters, or you strictly go down your line and prefer to write your own music?
I'll write with some other artists. I mean, I have people pitch me songs, but I mean, I don't know. I want to paint my own picture, you know?
For sure.
I mean, for me, I've heard songs and I'm like, man, that is a great song. But for me, man, writing is my art. I mean, a lot of times I kind of feel like for an artist to be an artist, they have to paint. And for me, I have to write. I've got to write my songs. If I'm feeling love, I want to write a love song. If I'm pissed, if I'm upset, if I'm mad, I'm happy. You don't ever know what's going to come out of my pen. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, it's being able to sit around a campfire with just you and your guitar and tell people about an experience you had that inspired a song. I mean, you know, I went and saw Paul McCartney play a concert in Omaha, Nebraska a couple years back. And man, you know, obviously it's Paul McCartney, you know, but he got out there, just he and a guitar. And he told this story about how he wrote a song for John Lennon, his friend. And then he sang it. Oh man, it was magical. You know what I'm saying? And those are the kind of things that get me excited, right? Like, those are the kind of things that make me go, wow, that was amazing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, for me, I'm out here. I want, if I can ever encourage people to get out of their comfort zone and search for independent artists and support the little man, there's so many incredible male and female artists out there that are trying to make a living for their families making music, and they just don't get the same opportunities as major label artists. And for me, somehow the good Lord blessed me and put me into this situation where, you know, I've been able to do what hasn't been done before, thanks to the fans that God's blessed me with. So you know, I try to encourage independent artists to, you know what, just because you aren't getting any support from a major record label, that doesn't mean you can't be an artist. You know, plow your own path.
So, like, what is your songwriting process? I'm always so curious about that when we get to talk to artists. Like, are you packing around a notepad, or are you jamming it in your phone when you say you really feed off your emotions? So, like, are you always trying to think of new songs and stuff, or like is it just kind of like you'll be middle of the bed or 3 a.m. and then think of a song and hop out and write it? Like, how's that go for you?
You know, basically everything from A to Z. I mean, I might be on my tractor at the ranch working. I might be in my truck. I might be in bed. I might be at a baseball game. Something might hit me. You know, it kind of comes in phases and stages. After I finish an album, I kind of feel like I let myself kind of hibernate. You know, I kind of take a little vacation after I finish writing an album and recording it. I think my mind's a little tired. But then after a month or two, I start getting ideas. And what I do is I write the ideas down. And if you know, I'll write the ideas down and kind of put down as much, you know, freestyle information that I can. And I'll do that for a couple of months. And then I'll go back and I'll revisit those ideas and start to kind of mold them into a song. But you just never know. I mean, that's just what makes songwriting so fun. It's like one day you're like searching for that next idea. And then the next day you're like, where did that song come from? You know, it's a thrill. It's truly, without the songwriting, I have no interest of being a country music artist. If I can't write my own songs, I'm out.
I just wanted to ask about like being an independent artist. Like, do you feel less pressure to pump out albums? I know, like with some people who are under labels, they have certain timelines when they have to pump out an album. But for you, since you're basically your own boss, like does that take some of the pressure off of you?
Well, you know, I mean, for me, I think if I was with a major label, they wouldn't allow me to put out the albums like I do. I mean, we put out American Soul in January, and I've already finished another new album. It's called Unwanted Man this year that we'll be putting out this year. I re-recorded an album that we recorded 20 years ago called Texas Cafe, and we're doing a Christmas record. So this year, I'll put out American Soul, Unwanted Man, Texas Cafe, and a Christmas record. So this year I'll put out 4 albums. And for me, I don't feel pressure. It's my hobby. You know, it's like, do you feel pressured when you're fishing? No, because you love to fish. You know, it's like, and I love to write songs. So for me, I'm just doing what I love. I think if you know, I've never been on a major label, but I think I would feel pressure if they're like, you just had a #1 hit and you need to come up with this kind of song. You need to write a song. I know I've written in enough, I've written with enough artists and songwriters that write for major publishing companies. I've been in a room when someone from a label or a publishing company comes in and says, hey, you know, so-and-so artist is fixing to go into the studio. They're looking for an upbeat song that was kind of like this song. So we kind of need to try to write them a song like this. That for me is very difficult. I don't write well like that. I think I can. I mean, I can. I jump right in there and I can be prolific, but I don't enjoy that. I think that's a better way of saying it. I can write like that, but I don't enjoy writing like that. Like, I want to paint a picture that inspires me. You know, I don't want to be told what I have to write. That's that independent, you know, that's that hard-headed independent streak inside of me.
You mentioned you're going back to the Texas Cafe record, and like, I look back, I became familiar with your music when I was in college in New Mexico, at the same college you went to,
Yeah.
NMJC at Hobbs. I went to school there for a
Nice.
couple of years. Yeah, same school. I had no idea that you went there. I was doing a bunch of research and found out that you went to school there on the baseball team. Were you there when you guys won the titles, or was that a couple of years later? I don't remember the dates on
That
it.
was a couple of years later. Well, what did you go there for? Where are you from?
I went on a rodeo scholarship in 08, 9, and 10, and you would have been there like 04, 3, 4? Or was
I was there about 10 years before.
10
you
years
there,
before
young
that.
buck.
Yeah. I have my numbers wrong on it. But yeah, I'm from Calgary. Wacey's from over in Saskatchewan. And I got another question about Canada. You've been up here much before too, but first we got to talk about Hobbs and getting you were on the baseball team there, right?
Yeah. And that's been a long time ago. Yeah. Coach Birmingham, he's now at the University of New Mexico, and golly, I mean, I remember my truck broke down one semester and I didn't have any wheels. So I would get sick and tired of eating that cafeteria food. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But it was included in the scholarship. It was free.
Woo! It's yeah. So it's kind of rough.
Yeah.
So I'd get tired of that. So I'd walk over there to that Allsups that was right across the highway.
Yeah.
Oh, Allsups, man.
And oh yeah, buddy, I'm right there with you.
Did you go there at closing time? Get the cheap burritos?
Yeah, they'd give you a ton of them. They just wanted to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So were you playing gigs when you were in Hobbs then too on the ball team, or was that still kind of a ways out there for you?
Was I playing shows, Jay?
Like were you were you playing music around like when you were in college playing ball, or were you just focused on baseball at that time?
That was kind of the beginning. I was starting to strum those guitars a little bit, starting to write songs. That's kind of in the beginning, actually. I actually, the Lee County, the Lee County Coliseum is right there on campus. And I remember I went and saw Clay Walker and Kenny Chesney play a show there. It was awesome. But I remember I met Clay, and I was taller than Clay. I was looking at him, and I was like, shoot, if that guy can do it, I can too, man. And Clay is, of all of the, most artists that have inspired me are independent artists, or Texas guys like, a lot of people no one's even heard of. But the bigger names, obviously everybody loves Robert Earl Keen and Jerry Jeff Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And, I could go on, the list goes on forever. But, I always, Clay is a Texas boy, and I always loved his brand of music, and he's a great showman. I mean, he puts on a great show.
Mm-hmm.
He's charming. He's a great artist. So, I mean, I learned a lot that night watching Clay play. So I don't know. I think, part of my career really kind of, it was slowly developing at that stage.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to like Reckless and Third Gear and 17. Those are the ones that I really remember when I was in school.
Oh yeah,
in New Mexico, and some of your more popular hits over the years, I guess, right? But haven't really.
Yeah.
Did they not really get like what? Could you ever bring those back now and re-record them and give them a shot more on the radio with the point you're at in your career now, or are they kind of? Do you got to rewrite and go forward now? I'm curious about those. They're such great tunes, and especially being at your shows like at the South Point in Vegas, like everybody knows those ones, especially in the rodeo business. But like, would they have another chance now or what?
Well, it's kind of like I was saying earlier. I was saying Jesus could bring me the greatest song ever, and radio wouldn't play it because I'm not on a label. But for me as an artist, I still play those songs live. But for me, it's kind of like I've been there, done that with those songs.
Okay.
And I wrote those. Honestly, I probably started writing that song I probably started writing Reckless 17 or 18 years ago. And, you know, I mean, that's been a while. And, you know, as you get older, I don't want to say as you mature, because I've yet to mature. I'm still very immature. But you just have different interests. And, but yeah, man, those songs were such an early, you know, kind of the foundation of my career. And you know, so it's fun to reintroduce those songs. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Not many people have heard of my Texas Cafe record. I sold a few copies out of my backpack in college, and you know, it sounded rough. My singing was rough. I didn't have a lot of money to spend on it, but it was a lot of fun to go back in and re-record these songs. These are literally the first songs that I ever wrote. And so there's a lot of, you know, there's some things about the songs that I hear now, and I'm like, oh man, I had no idea what I was doing. But one thing I can say is I always tried my best. You know, every stage of my career, I'm working hard. I'm giving my best effort, and I'm open-minded in wanting to become a better artist, much like I am today. I mean, I am just getting started. I mean, and we are fixing to have the best moment of my career are ahead of me. And that's what's exciting, is when you've been doing it for 20 years and you think to yourself, oh man, I'm fixing to become a wrecking ball.
I've got to ask about your connection to the rodeo world and playing Rodeo Houston, and then you recorded Cadillac Cowboy with Just McBride. I just got to know some of your connection on the rodeo side of things and how some of it came to be.
You know, I mean, I think, you know, having friends rodeo, a cousin was a bull rider, you know, playing country music, you get asked to play rodeos. And I think there's just a natural connection between my music and the cowboys and the cowgirls. And honestly, I love playing rodeos. I love what the rodeo stands for. I mean, it's my cup of tea, right? And I absolutely cater my career towards rodeos. And, you know, I got to play after the Calgary Stampede a couple years back with Brooks and Dunn, and golly, what a rodeo. What a rodeo. I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy playing rodeos. I love the food. I love the people. I love the atmosphere, the kids, families. For me, it's you know, when people ask me if what are my favorite places to play, I say rodeos.
Mm-hmm.
So I love everything about it. I mean, it's I can't brag enough about the Western world.
You're the first person we've had on the show that's been on the stage at Houston. How the heck does that spinning stage work? I've seen it drive out there, but is it all wireless, or what the heck do they do? Do they have cables buried underneath that they connect into? What do they do?
Yeah, they got cables buried underneath, and before the show, you know, they drive. So the year I played was the last year they had the old stage.
Oh, okay.
And they drive that thing out there, and they dig up the cables and plug it all in. And man, I'll tell you, that was a rough stage to play. That thing rumbled as it was spinning. And, you know, it doesn't spin a 360. It spins about 170 degrees, and then it stops. And when it stops, it kind of jerks you. I think there's like wheels in there spinning, and it literally puts the brakes on. And so you'll be singing, and when it stops, you know, the inertia naturally kind of pulls me off my mic, and I kind of have to, a couple of times I've about lost my balance.
Jeez.
And it was interesting. It was not my favorite it was not my favorite stage. I was like, man, on top of being nervous and there being 50, 60, 70,000 people, whatever there was, on top of all that, pressure and the nerves, I got this stage spinning around on me. I'm like, good grief. But it was great. I love the Houston Rodeo. And, man, it was a trip. It was fun. That was another groundbreaking experience. You know, I was the first independent artist to get to play the Houston Rodeo, and since then, you know, they've had others, and I'm thankful that, you know, we've been able to use our experiences to open doors for other artists, because, you know, other artists before me have opened doors for myself, so it's just an honor.
You mentioned quickly. You mentioned that you played the Calgary Stampede with Brooks and Dunn. Was that your first show in Canada? And what was that like for you?
Oh man, it was great. It was great. I will tell you this: getting through customs at the airport, that was crazy. I remember they pulled my passport and made me sit over to the side, and I had my guitar, and the guy was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm a country artist." He was like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Aaron Watson." He was like, "I've never heard of you." And I was like, "Lots of people haven't. It's okay." You know? And, but, you know, I was like, "Look it up. I'm playing with Brooks and Dunn tonight." And he was like, "Well, I've heard of Brooks and Dunn." I was like, "Everyone has. I know, right?" So I told him, I was like, "Dude, the next time I come back to Calgary, you better bring your wife, and you better know every song I sing." And he was like, "That's a deal. You got a deal." So I don't know. I love so many things about Canada. I love the deal that Canada has, the support that Canada gives all of its artists. I mean, man, Canada does it right when it comes to the arts. And so it was a ton of fun. It was a real honor to get on that stage in Calgary, and I'm really excited to come back to Canada for sure.
We're excited to have you back. We're craving some live shows up here. I love going to live music, so that's something that's really been missing out of my life. But yeah, this has been really great, Aaron. We really appreciate the time. Like we're both really big fans. It's fun to have a chat with you, and we'll wrap it up with a question we ask all our guests. Like, what is your definition of cowboy shit?
You know, I don't know. I think there's a lot of different definitions of that. Are you talking about the true definition of cowboy shit?
Or just like your definition? Yeah, your definition. Like it's kind of, it varies between guest to guest, and it's
cowboy shit is something you don't want. Hey, where I come from, cowboy shit is something you don't want to step in when you're wearing your nice church boots. So there you go, buddy.
Right on.
Let's talk about the new record real quick before we wrap up. American Soul, now available wherever you get your music. Talk about some of your favorite parts of that and getting that out in the last couple months here back in January.
Oh yeah, man, it's been fun. It's been fun putting that record out. Of course, you know, we wrote that. It's very timely. We wrote a song called American Soul, which just is a song about kindness and love and unity. But, you know, for me, there's a lot of fun stuff on this album. A lot of just straightforward country music. I mean, we're already playing a bunch of them live, like Silverado Saturday Night. You know, I love playing the song Boots. Yeah, the girls are going crazy for the song Boots. So you know what? What you do is you sing whatever songs the girls tell you to sing, because you don't want to end up in a room singing to a bunch of cowboys. So whatever the cowgirls want to hear, I'm going to sing it, because I don't want to sing to a bunch of
cowboy
dudes.
shit.
That you know it, buddy. Absolutely.
Well, thanks again for your time here today, Aaron. This is a bunch of fun. Again, you can find American Soul now wherever you get your music. Check out Aaron Watson everywhere you can listen to tunes. We appreciate the heck out of this time. This was a ton of fun.
Absolutely, boys. When
Appreciate
anything y'all need, y'all let me know. I'll give you a ring.
You betcha. Sounds like a plan. We'll check them out again, AaronWatson.com. Get your merchandise, records, vinyl, everything. And enjoy the show tonight. Have a good show. Glad to hear you back out on the road and hop into it again.
You bet. God bless you, boys. Talk to you soon.
You betcha. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
While the world keeps changing, he won't budge an inch. He'd ride lightning and never even flinch. He tipped his hat to the ladies and the legends too. Skull ring on his pocket, just like Chrysler do. He loves whiskey and rolling smokes, campfire songs and old man jokes. Long live cowboys chasing gold buckle dreams, pearl snap shirts and old faded blue jeans. Real like cowboys that weather the wind and the rain, like desperados waiting on a train. Those honky-tonk heroes and their six-string guitars, outlaw troubadours beneath those neon stars. Long live cowboys.
Thanks again to Aaron Watson for being on the show this week. Thanks for the time. Glad to see he's back on the road, getting to some shows. Hope we get to have a few again here soon up our way once the COVID calms down a bit. Thanks to our frontline workers for keeping everybody safe, saving lives out there. Thank you. That's all I guess I want to say. Thank you.
Yeah. It's funny to forget that side of it, I guess, just like what's actually going on in the trenches, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're so disconnected from it that we don't really know what it's like to be in those scenarios. And
you or I don't even watch the news either. Like
no.
Kind of get turned off, and like I'm over COVID. I think everybody is. Like, we don't want it to be like this. No, I don't think anybody appreciates or likes it. So we're all ready to get back to it. And it's really frustrating seeing everybody getting back to normal in the States when they're so close to us here. And somehow,
and even all over the world, like
there
was some live concerts in England over the past week, and Australia's been going back at it, and like the Kentucky Derby was this weekend. And people were there having fun. Like
exactly.
It's just. Yeah, you get a bit of jealousy, and then you just see what's going on in Alberta. It just kind of puts a damper on things.
And Canada, the whole country. So
tough. And man, shout out to those folks in Ontario not being able to golf and stuff. That's so tough.
I hope that they get to again soon. But they've actually, I think they've plateaued and they're starting to come down now. So we just got to get to we got to get this thing fucking sorted out. Mm-hmm. We'll see where we go. Anyways, man, I really enjoyed the chat with Aaron Watson. He was great visit. And
it's cool.
I really love his music. Like, he's got a lot of good tunes, and he's kind of a what do you say? Like, he does everything on his own, which is neat. Like, it's
that's
owner operator in the music business, which is, I think, quite rare out there.
Well, especially to be as successful as he's been. Like,
absolutely,
he's had an amazing career, just given like the work he's put in on his own end, like writing songs and producing and all that kind of stuff. And especially in today's day and age, it's so hard to do that, I think, as an artist. Like, just ask like any of the people we've talked to over the past few years, like Coulter and Corb would be a good guy to ask about that kind of stuff. Like, it's so difficult to do well in the music industry, and he's found a formula that works for him, and it's cool to see him have that success.
Well, and I liked it, Wace.
It was good stuff, man. Good stuff.
I hope everybody enjoyed the visit and chatting with him.
I want to give a special shout out to our friend Cody Harrison at Smith Build Hats for jumping in on our orangutan versus ostrich
Slade
conversation.
Long too? Who else got in on that?
Slade was in on it. It was good. That's entertaining. Good. So in light of that, I think I have another animal kingdom brawl that is up for debate. So who do you think would win in a fight between a grizzly bear and a gorilla?
Man, why are you going against these like orangutan family?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know, because I'm just trying to think of similar animals, or just like something that would be like, you know what I mean? A grizzly bear versus a gorilla would be a better fight than an ostrich versus an orangutan.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just the letters. So ostrich versus orangutan, grizzly versus gorilla.
I think that that's a bad match, Wacey. Because
think so?
Like how many other, like, a gorilla doesn't fucking tear up a bird and then roast it over a fire. Like, bears literally eat meat for their fucking lives. They have sharp teeth, sharp claws. This was a bad.
Have you seen a gorilla fight each other? Man, Google a video of gorillas fighting each other right now and tell me that thing doesn't have a chance against a bear.
Did you say grizzly?
Tell me that.
Like a bear or a grizzly bear, or what kind of bear?
A grizzly bear versus a gorilla, like a silverback gorilla.
Man, you're totally fucked.
Dude.
It's a grizzly bear for sure, 100%. With he has sharp fucking knives on his hands and his feet.
Have you seen it?
And his claws. What does a gorilla have? He might be strong, but he's not gonna. That guy's gonna cut him up and
they have agility and speed over the bear though. In a fight, in a fist fight,
you know how fast a bear is? A bear's top mile per hour rating.
Yeah, but just running. That doesn't account for their agility in a fight. Gorilla wins that fight anytime.
You're fucked, man. You're so high. How fast can
I'm not high. I'm not high at all. Have you ever seen Tarzan when the gorilla beats
40 kilometers an hour?
That's running.
Kilometers an hour.
Running, dude. That's running. That's
slow.
I'm not saying that they're slow. I'm just saying when it comes to like.
Such a bad question.
So I got whatever. Leave it to the people, man. I got the gorilla. You got the grizzly bear.
You're going down. Put this one out on Twitter right now, because you're going.
No, you can't put it out now. You gotta wait till people
Wednesday.
Listen. Gotta wait till people. Gotta give people a chance.
Everybody's gonna.
They're
gonna realize they're like,
the person with the best argument gets a sticker.
Well, it's funny how your question ended up last time. I don't know, who did you pick? You picked the ostrich.
The ostrich, yeah.
Which ended up being a bad idea. I think you lost too. If you look back at the
there's no evidence that I've lost. Like I still have backed up my argument with stuff. For sure. Like people that nobody really had my back. How nobody really had my back.
You're out on an island by yourself, but you're gonna be on this one too.
Which is you never know. Someone might come in. No.
Tell me specifically, okay, a bear has claws on his feet.
Right, but just because he has the claws on his feet doesn't mean he can't use them at the same speed that a gorilla can come at me.
Fucking teeth in his mouth.
Google a picture of a gorilla right now and his teeth. They're the same. They're sharp as shit.
Gorilla teeth. I'm looking it up.
Man, gorillas are straight killers, man.
I think you're high.
You got me like Harambe versus a grizzly bear. Harambe's gonna kick ass.
2 sharp teeth against a bear's full mouth of sharp teeth. Yeah, it ain't gonna work, man. You're going down. I'm sorry.
Gorillas go put the fucking grizzly bear in a sleeper hold, and that's good night, Jim Kite.
I don't
know. I'm gonna leave it to the people. I stand where I stand.
That's a bad one.
Oh, okay. Here's a challenge to you then. Next time we have another show like this, you come to me with an animal fight scenario.
That's not my job.
No, but because you're so confident that you know all these things about fucking animals, you could come up with a scenario of an animal versus an animal that you think is better, because
I'll think about it.
You're just sitting here like you're some sort of zoologist when we know you're not.
I knew I had to look it up, but 40 kilometers an hour bear can run.
It's running. This is not a sprint. This is not.
You can chase down the gorilla, fuck them up. It's a fight. A fight involves running.
It's not a chase. No, it's not a chase.
Jumping, diving, and dodging. It involves a lot of different things.
You're the only parameter you've brought on that front is running. There's no a bear's agility in a fist fight, because like the gorilla's not going to run away. He's going to come up. He's going to bow his chest out, give him one of these, and then next thing you know,
he's going to scare the bear off with his fist bumps. I don't think so.
No, he's going to assert dominance. Watch King Kong and then tell me that you don't think a gorilla can hang with a grizzly bear, buddy.
Well, maybe a ginormous sized gorilla that's 3 stories tall.
That's not what I mean. You're taking this out of context, man.
Okay, I think we need to wrap this up. Sorry to anybody that came to listen to Aaron Watson, heard us arguing about whatever the fuck that just was. But appreciate the question.
Sorry, man. Now, obviously, you don't appreciate the question because I'm just getting attacked.
Got to give us some good stuff. What else we got? I guess that wraps it up, eh? We calling it off?
I have no more questions because everything I bring to the table is
no further
bad.
Questions.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, I don't say it was bad. I'm just saying that's a not a great. It's not a great.
Ben,
let's think about a different opportunity. Like, would you say, what else could we? How else could we make?
No, you can tell next show that's your challenge, is to bring forward another challenge. But listen, like the thing that I think that the approach that you're taking to thinking about this is you're taking it too literal, where it's like this is a fist fight, like in a boxing ring between a bear and a gorilla, and you're telling me that. Boom, but the bear's not going to be able to run 40 kilometers. The biggest part of your argument is the bear can run 40 kilometers an hour.
The next biggest part of my argument, if it's a fist fight, open palm slap to the face.
Okay,
Bam!
but but the gorilla has lateral movement and agility that the bear does not have.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
You're guesstimating that. You didn't look
No,
it up
I'm
on
not
Google.
guesstimating that. No, because I don't need to. I know stuff.
Yeah, the biting factor on the bear, man.
Whatever, dude. Bear's got to be able to catch the gorilla. He's just gonna like Muhammad Ali, just like.
Okay, we'll see what the people say.
Yeah,
All right,
see what the people say.
All right. Okay, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for being a part of the show this week. We'll see you in another couple. Stay safe out there. Bye bye.